Hey, it's Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you've done a lot in a few kick-ass movie, dramatic films. So what goes into playing Stagecoach Mary from what you've read and from either research or what's on the script?
Yeah. So, on the script, on the page already, she's pretty intense and has a lot of fire to her. And also just, I think, passion in terms of love and romance as well. And I think throughout the film, she's kind of trying to juggle those two parts of herself of, being the hardened survivor and also being a lover. And in terms of, Mary Fields, like the real Mary Fields, I read about her, and I read about a lot of different people sort of in this time and in this era. And, the story itself is obviously fictional. None of these characters or these people actually knew each other. They all existed during different times and different ages. And Jeymes kind of wrote this script as like this coming together of all these sort of like superheroes of the Old West and how would they interact with each other, kind of like, and I remember he described it as like sort of like the Avengers A team and what would they do if they were in a story together. And so a lot of sort of like the historical counterparts aren't really accurate, like Nat Love and Mary Fields weren't a couple in real life. And so I think we all kind of like sort of like picked different things that, would fit into the narrative of the script. Mary was like known for her shotgun, and she did own a saloon in real life, and or a restaurant she owned. Kind of like shaped some parts into the film, and then other parts, we were completely our imagination and that we sort of filled in. But it was really interesting for me to overall just research about Black Americans during this time, and the kinds of people that were moving to the West, the kinds of things that they did. There were towns that were all Black, and like communities that were, we had our own businesses, and we, it was a place where we had a bit more autonomy because there was less of sort of like established sort of United States culture in the West. And so a lot of emancipated slaves moved there. A lot of, just also individuals who could move around, felt they could kind of like build community there. And so that was very cool for me to learn. And I tried to keep in mind in the spirit of my character that we built for the film.
There's a big ensemble in this movie. So two things all in one. How was working with this cast, and did you research their roles? Because everybody's playing Nat Love, Buck,
Yeah.
These people that, as you mentioned, some of them never met each other at different time periods, but you're putting them all in one film.
I did, I read up on all of them, and more. There's a bunch of books, you can find on a lot of these characters, and a lot of them show up in the same books because they were all interesting and significant in their own way. I wanted to kind of know all of sort of the histories and see, where all of us sort of picked like, seeing, where Regina got that detail or where Jonathan got this detail for their characters. It was, overall, I did read about everyone, I want to say, as I was kind of just doing my general overall research about this time.
Now, Jeymes is, he's done a similar film, a short film regarding cowboys, so he's kind of bringing some of these characters back. And I'm not, obviously, with short films, it doesn't get that visibility. You can't find these things and so forth. Mm-hmm. But what did you get from his direction, that you can take on to your other projects? I always feel like actors never can stop learning, especially when you're working with different directors.
Yeah, I think with Jeymes, I really took from him, first off, I think his commitment to this film and this story, because the shorter film, it's about an hour. He funded it himself. Actually, Erykah Badu plays Stagecoach Mary in that film. Yeah, thank you, Erica, for originating the role. You know, that was something he shot, I want to say almost 10 years ago. And it's such a cool thing to see how that story has shifted and changed into this film. And his drive to make sure this this movie gets made. And like, you know, he's been working on this for so long. And I think as a creator, you know, it takes a while to get things done. And I think about that too, as I'm developing things right now. Things take years and people don't realize that. Like, something comes and you're like, oh yeah, they must have written it in 6 months and then they got it cast and then they shot it in 2 months and now it's here. And it's like, no, shit takes decades. And I feel like I have to remind myself that when I'm like working on things. I'm like, I just want this to be made by the end of this year. And it's like, no, you got to make sure it's all right. And you get the right team around it and you get the right creatives around it. And I think Jeymes stays really true to his creative vision on everything he does and doesn't compromise it. And I really respect that. And he really stands up for his creativity and his ideas. And I want to make sure I do that too in like future projects that I.
Yeah, you see, like you said, you never know when things are going to come out. I've seen it twice this year, obviously 9 days. And this movie, you know, you never know. The year is not over yet. So I'm sure hopefully we'll talk sooner than later. So wherever you're at, stay safe and we'll talk later.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for talking.